I'm Minia Moszenberg, born Wasilkowska, and I live in New York, in Flushing, for the last 40 years. And I've been coming to this center for about, I would say, 5 years after I retired. And I met incredible people, and it's just a wonderful experience being here. As far as my quilt here, it was introduced to Libby. She spoke about it, I would say last year of May or something like that, if I remember correctly, about this project. And in the beginning, I was very reluctant. I said, God, what I'm going to do? I have no pictures, none whatsoever from my family. There's something which I like to create, and my mind just was working overtime. I originally planned on making a bigger one, but the size was an obstacle. I wanted to make separation and liberation. That's what I planned to do. But it didn't work out, but this was more important to me. And I worked very hard for about 3 months, mostly at home, because the work was so intricate that I had to work with little tweezers, tiny scissors, and very painstaking because of cutting out all these little things and so on. And it was really sweat and tears. And as I progressed, and I started to think, oh my God, am I really doing it? It's just great. This is the way I remember my family when we were separated. I was left all alone, which was 1942, and this is the most poignant time in my life. And I always think of them, and I said, wouldn't it be wonderful if I do something like this in their memory? And things became a little more easier, and as the project took on a meaning each day more and more, and my friends just couldn't believe. I remember one of my friends came up, because I was always busy, they wanted to go places. I said, no, I'm busy, I have to do things. So she said, please let me see it. It was not finished yet, maybe halfway. So I showed it to her, she started to cry. So I thought, this is the way I would like to project it. And this really justified what I had in my mind. This is what I want to project to the people, which they're going to come and see it. What it means to have a family and torn away from, and not seeing them, not able even to say goodbye. And of course, the project took off quite unexpectedly. And it was just great to see the interest of the wonderful people in the Queens Community College. And it was just overwhelming. After, of course, my friends went to see and was advertised, thanks to the wonderful Susan Curtis. She did a wonderful job, wonderful job. And right now, we are getting back our quilts. I'm getting back my quilt. I would like to really have it displayed in places, not to keep it for myself. This is something which I would like to people see it and to be aware what happened. And I regret that I don't have any pictures, which none whatsoever. Of course, after this separation, I was sent to the ghettos in Ozorkov ghetto, and then from there to Lodz ghetto, which I was there till 1944 in September. From there, I was taken by trains, cattle trains, with maybe 100 people. No sanitary facilities or anything, no food, and people were dying. And finally we arrived in Auschwitz, and we were chased out from the trains, and there was standing Mengele making selections again to the left and to the right, and somehow I wound up on the right side. I was that time with my sweet aunt, which she was my guardian angel. I was in the ghetto with her. She was watching over me, and I don't think I would survive without her. And she always said, "You are young, you're strong, you will survive." You're saying, "Please make sure that you tell what happened to us." And when we arrived to Auschwitz, I was separated from my aunt and my little cousin. They went to the left and I went to the right. And here was another separation, which completely destroyed me. I was in Auschwitz for 10 days. I was sick. I ran temperature, because they also, I don't know what they fed us, but I think they fed us something in the soups to make us sterile. Our periods we didn't have. And after 10 days in hell on earth, they transferred me to Bergen-Belsen, which I was there. We were staying in tents with straw and blankets, with people and with friends. I made friends, was like a little circle of friends. That was a way of survival. We looked up for each other. I'm still friends till today. I still, correspond with him. And from there, I was there in Bergen-Belsen. I was once pushed under barbed wire. I almost lost my eye. I still have the scar here. From there, we were sent to a work camp in Geislingen, which is near Stuttgart. And I was working in the factory there. They were producing weapons. And I remember I was assembling guns. And we had very little food, and the conditions were terrible, terrible. And once I was asking, because there was maybe 2 miles of walk from the camp to the factory, and the snows were very high. In Germany, winters are very severe. And so I had nothing to lose, because I didn't care if I survive. I have no one anymore, so whatever's gonna happen's gonna happen. So we had these wooden shoes, not shoes, clogs, which they had no backs. And after a while, the back was worn out completely, so you were walking actually in snow. So once I just took the courage, I don't know, courage or stupidity, I went over to the commander and I said, please, can I have a pair of shoes so I can walk? Because I walk in the snow without shoes, and it's very cold and I'm getting sick. So he said, what, you want shoes? He said, if you cannot walk, I push you on the ground and I push you with my foot. With my foot, if you can, you will crawl. And he beat me so up severely that I was unconscious. He kicked me in my right leg, which I have still the scars and numbness in my leg. And they took me to the to the sick bay, and I was there, I don't know how many days. Then finally, from there, from the camp, they knew that the English, the soldiers, they're coming soon to the area there. So they again transporters took us to Dachau, which was in Bavaria. And we were there for 3 weeks. Over there was completely dead. Completely. No food, practically no food, and standing all day and being counted, completely counted. And they made sure that you didn't stay next to each other. So the warmth, of the air would help too. But anyway, I was there for 3 weeks. If we would be there for longer than that, a day, I don't think I would have survived. So I was liberated by the Americans, of course, the 222nd Division, I believe, and I was very sick, very, very sick. I couldn't even move. And from there, that took us, after the liberation, that took us to Landsberg, which was a DP camp. Nothing was organized yet. The German soldiers were there. There were no beds, no mattresses, nothing. Being I was very ill, they took me to sick bay there. There was an American doctor, and there was some doctors which they were liberated to help. There were no medication, no way of being able to be helped there. So they transferred me there to St. Ottilien, which was a cloister, nuns. And that took care of me, took care of us, along with the doctors and so on. And I slowly gained weight. I weighed only 75 pounds after the war. And after recovery in August, they sent me to Feldafing camp, DP camp, over there, where I stayed till 46. I met my husband there. We fell in love, and it just was a new beginning. Because after the war, I really didn't know where I'm going to go. I have no one. What I'm going to do. So after, of course, my husband said no more living in DP camps. So we had friends nearby in a different little town, Traunstein. And they were able to get us a small little room privately. And we got married in 1946 in August, and waited to be emigrated, for the emigration, to emigrate to the United States. And my grandmother had brothers and had sisters here, and they sponsored us. So we arrived in the United States in 1951, May 11th. And the most important thing which I want to emphasize, I gave birth to a miracle to my daughter Paula in 1949, which our life was just wonderful. Everything seemed to work out great. And when we came here, my husband right away got a job, very ambitious. He didn't want to have anybody helping him, starting to read New York Times and, and so on. People which speak different languages, they have an easier time to learn a new one. And after he got the job and everything was just great, and I had my Susan, my sweetheart Susan, my second daughter. She was born January 52, adorable, 2 young girls, and we were very happy. And I don't know if I should go into my life here, because my life here was very sad for my children and myself, because my husband got ill with MS after being here only 2 years and having 2 small children was a struggle. But the love and strength which we had kept us together. And I'm so grateful to have my family. And they're just, I'm so proud of them and my son-in-laws. And I have a grandson. And would you believe I have a little great-granddaughter? And her name is Willa. And she's the most precious little thing. And I'm really grateful each day for the life that I'm here to talk about it. It's a miracle itself, really. And there are so many wonderful things about my family. I have a wonderful circle of friends. And it's just, I'm grateful each day, and I do things what I like to do. And I really miss my husband. He died in 1992. The family miss him, but you have to go on and do the best. I'm sure he would want me to do that. And I'm trying to be busy. I'm also very active in my organization, Nachos. I think you're getting the paper there, newsletters. Dr. Schulman is getting it, yes. And I'm very active there. I'm a treasurer with my friends, and we have all kind of things, meetings every month, board meetings and so on. And I'm coming here because I like the exercise, and I like the guests which they have on different topics. So to be busy and having wonderful friends and having a great, great family which I adore, I'm very lucky. I am lucky. I really call it triumph over evil. And my aunt was really right by saying that I'd be okay. And she's probably up there and smiling. And I'm trying to do everything I can to talk about. I made the Spielberg tape, which is for 3 hours. And I spoke in my grandson's school where he was teaching. And I'm willing even now to go places if I'm available to do so. So life goes on, and I hope it's going to be for a while.